Hi everyone, my name is Jerry Wise. If you have parents who are aging or parents who will be aging, you'll want to stick around for this video. I really believe this is something you need to consider, particularly if they've had trouble with narcissism. I want to thank you for joining me. I've been working with clients for over 45 years to help them get their family of origin out of them, so that they can live their own true selves and their own true lives. This video is what to expect when narcissistic parents grow old. And they will. And I've met with hundreds, if not thousands, of clients over the years. Many of them have had elderly parents or parents who have aged. Been doing this for so long that their parents were young when I first started working with them, and now their parents are in nursing homes now that I'm working with them. And in fact, there's a few who are going to nursing homes themselves. I've been around for a while. So what are the things that we should remember? Remember, they are going to grow into probably even greater entitlement and being a victim. And they will be expressing that because of this entitlement, this is basically why they had you. So that when they get to this stage in life, that's why you're here. To fix things, help them, stop your life and deal with my life. And it doesn't matter whether it's convenient for you or not. I remember there are several times where, my mom would set a doctor's appointment and say, oh, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m. Well, I have to work. I mean, what? You didn't tell me you had a doctor's appointment. You didn't say, what do you expect me to do? I can't just drop everything and do that, rather than working with me, if I can be of help. Well, that's not the focus at all. So, entitlement and maybe being a victim. Number 2, manipulation of the family. Oftentimes, when narcissistic parents grow into later years, if they still have their minds and if they still have some of their health, then again, they can be very manipulative in the family, because they want to gather their chicks who are for them around them. Well, that may not be you. You may not want to do that. Maybe you have kids that they have begun to alienate from you so that they will be there for the elderly parent, them knowing, you may have enough self that you'll want me to be responsible for myself as a narcissistic parent, which I don't want to be. I want everyone to worry about my needs and take care of me. I'm not talking about wonderful parents who get into needy situations because of their health or because of their choices or because of their medical conditions. I understand that's a part of life. I'm talking about when it becomes a means to manipulate as we get older. Another thing that happens, I think, is they play on society's sympathy for their self-centeredness. In other words, well, I'm the elderly parent. I don't know why my kids don't do this. And then, of course, other people in society will go, well, why aren't they taking care of their elderly parent? And they don't realize this elderly parent has been horrible to their kids for how many decades? And they may not be aware of that. And so they will play on the society and cultural sympathy because they're getting older and everyone is supposed to take care of their elderly parents. That's the societal norm or the rule. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And fourthly, you may find yourself in an inheritance manipulation issue where, again, money becomes an issue when they get elderly. Who's going to get it? Who's going to do my bidding and I will reward them with the inheritance? Who's out and who's in? And again, it gets used as an immature and manipulative tool for the parent to get done what they want to have done. Not that parents don't have a right to do with their money what they want to do. I think if a parent doesn't want to give me their money, that's fine. They have a right not to. But that's different than if they use it for manipulation and use it to control. That's a different thing. I think parents, many of them have a right to spend all their money before they pass away. They're not obligated to have to give that to their kids or give money to their kids. They may want to, but they're not obligated to do that. Hey, spend the money. I don't care. It's your money. You made it. If there's anything left and you want to give it, fine. Fifthly is acting like the matriarch or the patriarch. If they have been a narcissistic parent, they've probably already been acting that way. Well, now they're acting that as an elderly parent. And they may have very little concern for others. You are expected to give up your life for theirs at this point. They tend to put their burdens and problems on their kids, and they may begin to act a little more like toddlers. And they may throw fits, and they may be upset, and they may not regulate their emotions very well. And I'm not talking about people who maybe have dementia or medical problems where it may be difficult to regulate emotions. I'm talking about doing that in a manipulative way because you can get away with it. And they may attempt to do that. So then what do? Ultimately, one thing you need to remember, we never owe our parents anything. Let me also say, any owing or any gratitude should be based on the nature of the relationship I have with them, not because they simply gave birth to me and simply gave me meals, clothes, school. Yes, that's what all parents are. That's all parents' responsibilities. You can't raise your child in this society and not feed them. That's what the law requires. And we go, oh, but you fed me all those meals, all those years. Well, you'd be in jail if you didn't. Again, I'm not saying parents who genuinely are caring and giving, we wouldn't want to be grateful and thankful and appreciative of them. But it's not someone is saying, you owe me now because I clothed you, I fed you, and I birthed you. Oh, well, thank you. That's what all parents have to do. I'm not sure why I owe you in a special way. I'm not sure what. I'm glad I'm here, but I really didn't choose it. That was you and Dad's choice or you and Mom's choice for me to be here. So remember, keep your owing down. Very down. And I've had parents come out and clearly tell their children, the reason I had you is so that I would spend a little bit on your college, but you'd have to pay for most of it. And then when you got a good job, you will have to take care of me when I get older. And they made that very clear, and that's why they had them as children. Talk about loving. Is that a loving expression? Well, I'm just a safety net for you. Okay. You really didn't care. You just wanted me to be your safety net when you got older. Well, maybe the state should be your safety net rather than me, because you have about as much relationship with the state as you do with me. Secondly, do not use normal rules of family and society for the abnormal and toxic life with an aging, elderly, narcissistic parent. And that one of the things that people will do is they will use what everyone around them considers normal rules of family for this abnormal parent who's been horrible all these years. And they don't see that, and then there's lots of pressure on you to feel guilty or ashamed that you're somehow treating your parents so terribly. Well, yeah, my mom beat me every day. Do you think I'm really thrilled about taking care of her at this point? Maybe that's for the state to do rather than me. Or my other siblings. or whoever else in the family wants to do that. And again, we don't want to use the normal rules for abnormal parenting and parents who are elderly. Thirdly, whenever we must deal with a 40-year-old narcissist or parent, or an 85-year-old narcissistic parent, self-care is essential, even if it's inconvenient for them. It can be inconvenient for them. And so self-care is critical. But I think self-care is so important, and self-focus and self-care is so important for healing for anyone who grew up in a narcissistic home. Anybody. That's so critical. And again, we have to be willing to tolerate others feeling inconvenienced, because you're always the one who's supposed to be inconvenienced. No, I am not. There are times you can be inconvenienced because I've got to take care of me. And no, I can't bring that dish that takes 8 hours to fix and to cook to the Christmas family dinner because I have kids, a job, a husband, a wife, I have a family, and I just can't do that this year. And mom or dad's upset because you're not going to bring that special dish, and that why are you such a failure as a wife and mother and homemaker? No, you're just going to have to live with my inconvenience. I'll be bringing a nice, easy green bean casserole. Well, that's not very special. Well, maybe we can make the day special. Maybe the green pea casserole doesn't have to be that special. And I'm not going to feel guilty. Fourthly, ignore any new efforts to use their age to manipulate you and return to a parent-child relationship. I really like to resist the parent-child relationship. I remember, I was in my 60s. I think I've mentioned it in my videos. I was in my 60s and my mom was, I think, getting close to her 90s. And she was all worried about my haircut, that I needed a haircut. Now, I don't have a lot of hair, but it will grow in the back and it'll get long and I'll need to go get it cut. She was so worried about that, interrupted a great conversation just to make that point. And I'm going like, does it bother you that I haven't gotten a haircut yet? Yes, it does. Well, Mom, it doesn't bother me. Now what would you like to talk about? I'm resisting the parenting from a 90-year-old to a 60-year-old. I'm resisting that parenting. I'm not trying to be smart, Alec. I truly believe it may bother you, but it does not bother me. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being honest. And that you're free to have it bother you if you want it to bother you. I mean, you're welcome to that. But it seems rather silly. It is my hair. And I guess I'll have to deal with it any way I deal with it. And so we want to resist those parenting roles. Please comment on this video. Please subscribe. If you want to learn more how to be more your true self, there's a program that I have listed in the description, Your New Road to Self. It's taken me 45 years to write this and to present that program. I think you'd find it helpful. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day and be wise.